We're getting ready to submit the first draft of this final project, and make sure that you treat this as a final submission. You have to make sure that you reach the minimum number of pages required, that you complete the or that you develop the topics that you want to develop in your paper, that you add a reference page, that you add a title page, and that you follow the format that I provided for you. We mentioned that we're going to use APA 7th edition. I provided a sample for you, and you have to be following that sample. There are a few items that you don't need, like the abstract or the pictures within the paper or diagrams. You don't need to do that, so don't worry about it, but you do have to follow the rest of the format, the font, the margins, the spacing, and all of that sort of stuff. Make sure that you know that we have also the presentation coming up that is going to include narration, and I'm going to give specific instructions for that portion of the final project. I have also heard that a couple of you guys have struggled to communicate with your classmates, and I just want to give you the reminder that everybody is responsible for communicating with the group. It is your responsibility as a student to make sure that your group is working towards a final submission, that your group is working towards, developing what you guys are supposed to. And if that is not happening, if, like you're 3 or 4 people and one person is not working, the rest of the team is still responsible to submit a paper. You're not going to be held accountable for what is missing, but you do have to still work on your project. There is no excuse not to submit something, not to submit what it belongs to each of you, what the responsibility or the sections that the rest of the people are responsible for. So I'm still expecting you that first, that you try to communicate with your classmates, and second, that you try to communicate with me to let me know what's happening with your group. I'm hoping and I'm expecting you guys to be working together, but if you experience any difficulties, please let me know as soon as possible, because remember that this project is 10% of your grade, and nobody wants to lose the opportunity to obtain that 10% of this final presentation and final project. So we still have a couple more components coming up. Make sure that you're working with your group. Make sure that you're communicating with your group and you're communicating with me, that you're working on these components and that you're following the instructions and the format that I provided, the APA sample paper that I provided for you. Make sure that you keep that in mind whenever you're formatting your paper. Now, if everything looks good, probably you don't even need to submit a final draft. So this one, if it's, if you have all the components, all the materials, all the sources, and the format looks good, you should be good to go, and you don't have to submit a final draft. So make sure that you keep that in mind. Make sure that we have the presentation coming up. We are still working in VHL Central. Like always, make sure that you're keeping track of the calendar, that you know when the exams are going to open, when they are due. And the second half of the semester, we have been working specifically on the final project. So if at this point you still have some issues, you still have some questions, you still have some comments or concerns, make sure that you send me an email, that you schedule an appointment to discuss that with me. But I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. That's the information that I had for you guys. Make sure that you let me know if you need any help from my side. Thank you, guys.